Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Ruth, and let's chat about Tales from the Cafe before your memory fades and before we say goodbye. Irashaimase or welcome as they greet each customer who enters into the cafe. We will be finishing our thoughts on Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. We will accompany both old and new characters into the cafe as they decide if they want to time travel or not. Some things to keep in mind. One, the book follows a formula. So, there are four chapters to each of the book. Each chapter is divided into a specific theme or topic that the character is going to be going through. The third one is every time you meet a new character, the rules of time travel will be repeated. And the fourth one is you may run into old characters as you read about new characters into the book here. All right, so now we're on to the first book, Tales from the Cafe. The cafe is located in Jimbocho, Tokyo, and it's called Cafe Funiculi Funicula, run by Nagare and Kazu, who are both cousins. What I liked about the book was they do give a little bit more detail about time travel and not so much the science behind it, but they do give you a little bit more details of the time travel. Second thing I like about the book was the two chapters. They're called Best Friend and Mother and Son. These two chapters deal with family issues and guilt, and I thought it was very touching the way the author wrote about it and how he went about the themes for these two chapters. Um, Another thing I liked about the this book in particular is they mentioned more about coffee. I mean, we're in a cafe, so I'm glad they mentioned more about um, types of coffee, how the coffee is poured and made. So I love that they mentioned that. Now we're on to the second book, Before the Memory Fades. So now we're in a different location in Hakodate, Japan. The cafe is called Cafe Dona Dona, and similarly, concept this cafe you can also time travel back. This one is run by Nagare's mom, so he has to leave his Tokyo cafe for a little bit to help his mom's cafe. We are set with new characters per usual. Unfortunately, this book wasn't my favorite out of the series because one, I felt like some of the stories in this third book was kind of similar themes to the first book. So that made me feel like maybe this third book wasn't necessary, but at the same time, I can see why the author wanted to put this third book in the series. But for me, I thought it could have been left out. The next one is, although confusing at first, it's easy to remember after, but it was a little bit annoying just because some of the characters' names started with the same vowel. So it was confusing at first. So, for example, you have characters that are named Saki and Sachi, Reggie and Reiko, Yukari and Yukata, and then Nagare and Nanako. So, Nagare, we already know because he's the cafe owner, but again, just the names are kind of similar, so it was a little bit confusing at first. What I liked about the book, two things. One, they mentioned about yuzu. So this is super random, but if you don't know what yuzu is a type of lemon. And so if you ever have a chance to try it, I definitely recommend it because yuzu has a little bit more stronger, I don't know if herbal is the right taste, but you can definitely taste there's some taste to it. So for example, like you can get like a yuzu gummy, and this you can get at like a Japanese store, or if you go to a Japanese restaurant and they have some yuzu flavoring, I recommend you just try it, just to try it. But I like that they mentioned that in the book. And another thing they mentioned in the book is about depression. So I kind of wanted to read you a quick quote here. Burnout syndrome is considered by some to be a type of depression, but while depression begins with stress or fatigue or a large shock like an accident or a loss, Burnout syndrome originates with the thought that all of one's efforts are in vain. So I love that they mention that, just because I feel like we should be more mindful and normalize, hey, it's okay to not be okay, and really recognize when people are burnt out, because it affects a lot of things in your life. Even if you don't know it, it does kind of creep in your life and start affecting you if we don't recognize burnout syndrome in our friends, families, coworkers. So just kind of be aware of that. Okay, last book here before the memory fades. So we are going to go back to the Tokyo location, Funiculi Funicula. And similar, we're going to meet new characters and what they're going to go through um, in their personal lives and why they have to travel back in time. So, one of my favorite chapters in the fourth book is called um, Daughter. And this one is about a father and daughter and how they mend their relationship. So, again, I thought this was a touching story and relatable for me, anyways. So, um, overall thoughts here. I think that these books in the series, is worth a shot to read. Is it like a page turner where you are up all night that you have to find out what's gonna happen? No, not really. um, Technically, how these books are written can be standalone, just because, again, each chapter is different characters. And so, do you have to read in a series? No, but it would be good, right? Because then you finish the whole series. So, um, the other thought I had was, technically you didn't really have to read the first book, because the author does a good job of kind of like reminding you what happened in previous chapters. So technically, you didn't have to read the first book, but at the same time, if you want to be more invested in characters, you should read the whole series. Like, that's how you get invested in characters. So that's my opinion. From after reading the series, you don't have to read the first book if you don't want to. It does get repetitive in describing the rules of time travel, right? I get it. Each character you meet, they're new. So, of course, they're not going to know the rules to traveling the cafe. So, that gets a little repetitive. So, I did find myself kind of fast forwarding the explanations of time travel. So, just kind of keep that in mind if you read these books. I do recommend it, but it's not like something I would like make you jump to get. These are books that you can definitely take your time in reading. So, but overall, good. It's like a good feel good read. All right, so please let me know your thoughts. Did you like the book? Didn't you like the book? Who is your favorite character? Please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Happy reading.